So Xiaomi has kept me rather busy these past couple of weeks by launching basically every product you could possibly think of besides a marital aid. But this right here is one of the last on my list, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, a fresh new super premium tablet taking on that ruddy iPad. Now this Git Posh 11-inch tablet isn't massively different from last year's Xiaomi Pad 6S Pro, except it's now a bit more compact. But movie fans, gamers, and anyone who likes massive shiny rectangles will absolutely adore this thing. And it comes decked out with some serious accessory support. I'm not kidding, Xiaomi's really gone to town with this thing. So here's what I reckon of the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro costs £449 here in the UK, 499 euros. And in the box you get the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, of course. Here's one I set up earlier. And not much else, sadly. We've got a USB Type A to Type C charging cable and some quick start guff, and that's your lot. But Xiaomi loves to do a decent deal on its website, so definitely be checking that out for discounts, bundles, etc. So yeah, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, certainly a decent size with its 11.2 inch display. As you can see there, the bezels surrounding it, not too chunky at all, just wide enough so your pinkies don't intrude on that display when you are just clutching it one-handed, etc. Now it weighs just 500 grams, which ain't bad at all for a tablet this sort of size, so I find it perfectly comfortable to hold one-handed. It's a pretty skinny wee beastie, as you can see there as well, not bad at all for an 11-inch tablet. Again, you've got yourself an aluminium alloy unibody, which, yeah, it's not the most thrilling of designs. This basically looks like yet another iPad, except with quite a sizable camera bump stuffed in one corner. And yes, this does unfortunately mean there's a fair bit of rattle if the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro is lying flat on its back and you're poking and prodding it. And sadly, my review model is the least thrilling colour of the trio. It's the grey one, obviously. But you can also pick up the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro in blue or green if you fancy something a bit more vibrant and lively. And apparently it's Gorilla Glass 5 up front, which is a bit of a shame that it's not something like Victus 2, given the asking price of this thing. And you'll have to be careful with the back end, because as you can see there, I've already got a wee scratch on it, despite the fact I've only been using this thing for a week or so. And I keep thinking it's a pube as well and going to brush it off. Now the power button over here in the corner also houses a fingerprint sensor, so you can bypass the pin, just jump straight into your desktops. As you can see, this works beautifully. Just tap your pinky to the surface. You don't need to push the button in and it'll pop right into life. No waiting, no buggering about, straight in there. And yeah, never seems to fail unless your hands are like super soapy or grubby or whatever. And of course you have Face Unlock as a backup as well. And then just like Xiaomi smartphones, what you've got on here is good old HyperOS version 2.0.101.0. It's a particularly good vintage. Unfortunately, Xiaomi doesn't seem to be offering the same level of software support here on its tablets as it does for its smartphones, so I believe it's just 2 OS updates and 3 years of patching that you're guaranteed here on the Pad 7 Pro. Yeah, certainly for a Pro tablet I would hope for a bit more, but the general setup of HyperOS the same basically as those Xiaomi smartphones. You've got your Google Discover feed, your apps tray, all the usual googly goodness. You can drag down the notifications bar with a quick swipe like so and swap across to your control center with another swipe. Otherwise, just swipe down the right hand side, pull that control center straight up. All fully customizable, of course, as always. Annoyingly, however, it doesn't seem like you're able to change the grid size here on the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, so you're stuck with 4 apps per row. I've properly delved into all the home screen settings and everything, can't find any way of changing that. Maybe your Uncle Spurs just hit the old happy juice a bit too hard these past few days, but that one's really got me stumped. And as always, Xiaomi offers plenty of customization. You can change up the icons, the fonts. You've got a variety of different wallpapers and everything slapped on there if you don't want to seek out your own super geeky efforts. If you do have other Xiaomi devices, phones, etc, you've got the interconnectivity shenanigans slapped on here so they can all pair up nice and easily. You can quickly and easily swap files, share apps, etc. And oh yes, of course, you've got the now obligatory AI shenanigans, or Hyper AI in Xiaomi's case. Quite a few bits which I already went through in my Xiaomi 15 and Xiaomi 15 Pro reviews. And yeah, you've got some decent stuff in here like AI subtitling, the AI interpreter, which can translate calls, etc. as well as the now standard Android AI goodies like Circle to Search and of course good old Gemini as well. Xiaomi's been pretty generous with the storage as well. The Pad 7 Pro comes with up to 512 gigs of the stuff, although sadly bugger all memory card support for expanding that. And there is bugger all SIM or indeed eSIM support here, so it's basically Wi-Fi all the way. Now Xiaomi is of course offering a wide variety of accessories for the Pad 7 Pro, one of them being the Focus Pen Stylus. This just sticks onto the edge of the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro using the incomprehensible power of magnets, and when the two are connected like this, it does charge the pen. You do have to get it just right. I have found that sometimes I slap it on there and the connection's not quite right, so you just got to make sure it's exactly in place. You'll see the little icon pop up if you do it right. And there is a stylus section in the settings where you can set the shortcuts using the 3 buttons, but it's actually 2 buttons technically, but one of them's a rocker. You can also use the Focus Pen as a presentation remote if you have to deal with all that PowerPoint shenanigans still. Seems pretty comprehensive overall for a stylus pen, but as you'll know just from watching my videos, I have zero creativity in my soul, so I haven't really got much use out of it. And Xiaomi is also offering a selection of covers for this tablet, starting with the simply named Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro cover. And this just helps to keep your Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro protected when you're on the move. Wish I'd slapped it on straight away, then I might not have that scratch. It really clings on there tight. And as an added bonus, this does also double as a stand for your Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, keeping it propped up like so, which is, oh bollocks, completely muffed that up. Keeping it propped up like so, which is perfect if you're just kicking the back, watching a movie, getting all sketchy with the Focus Pen, etc. Next up is the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro keyboard cover. So the actual tablet itself, again, just slaps in there, held in place by magnets. As you can see, props the tablet up, although only to this one angle, you can't change that. The two immediately pair up thanks to the pogo pin connection, and you can immediately just start typing away. You've got the usual function keys, you can quickly and easily change the brightness, the volume, etc. And sadly there's bugger all backlighting here, but the keys are quite well spaced considering it's a pretty dinky board. Of course the enter key is proper compressed, squished into the edge there in just a single row. And as always with these cover boards, ever so slightly awkward if you are resting it on your lap trying to type away on a train or whatever. But hey, if you want the absolute best of the best, it's gotta be the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro Focus keyboard. Again, this just slaps on there and immediately pairs up thanks to the pogo pins. Now this one is proper posh with a good bit of backlighting and a dual hinge setup so you can adjust the angle. Unfortunately, it only goes this far back, so you can't tilt it any further than that, but still an improvement over the regular keyboard. This feels a little bit more like a proper keyboard because you've got a little bit of travel when you hit those keys. Got a bit more clickety-clack action. As you can see, you've also got a laughably dinky touchpad here, which frankly, I mean, just, use the actual touch screen. Although the touchpad does support some pretty useful gestures to allow you to swipe back through an app, switch between apps, return to the home screen, etc, etc. And inside of the keyboard settings, you can also adjust the shortcuts if you want to. Just give them a quick tap, you can change the letter that's assigned to each one. And you can also piddle about with the backlight, including a bit of auto adjustment and mess around with the cursor style, etc. So yeah, if you're going to want to use this tablet as a makeshift laptop on the move, I'd highly recommend going for the Focus keyboard. And of course, you've got the usual split screen shenanigans going on. Just tap these 3 dots up at the top, you can shunt an app over to one side and then open up another one on the other side just by using the dock. It's super intuitive, you can swap them around with another quick tap. You can also open up one of the apps in a floating window if you prefer, which can then be shifted about the place. And of course you can quickly and easily resize them just by dragging that middle bar. It's not quite as good as the multitasking on the OnePlus tablet. Annoyingly, some apps like YouTube, you can't actually open in a floating window, which would have been perfect, just shunted off to one corner while you're working on other stuff. You can't do a horizontal split either, it's only vertical splits, which again, not ideal for video, but you just kind of make the best of the situation, I guess. I know, yes, Xiaomi has also included the workstation mode, which is quite handy if you do have this whole keyboard set up. Just gives you a more desktop style experience, which, as I say, works quite well with the keyboard trackpad set up, as you get lots of different apps on the go. Now the display's 3:2 aspect ratio is of course well suited for side-by-side multitasking, etc. But if you're a movie fan, a gamer, whatever, you're gonna ruddy love this 11.2-inch panel. It's a 3K resolution screen, 3200 by 2136 pixel resolution, given 345 pixels per inch. Those visuals nice and crispy despite the size of this thing. And no, it's not OLED tech, but you've still got Dolby Vision support with respectable contrast and quite bold, vibrant color output as well. Those blacks aren't as inky black as you would get from OLED, but certainly TV shows, movies look absolutely bloody fantastic. Now you got DC dimming and eye comfort shenanigans slapped on here as well to keep you from getting all migraine-y. The refresh rate scales from 30Hz all the way up to 144Hz for supported games. And if you are going to be traveling a lot with this tablet, using it outdoors, you can grab a matte glass version, which is more anti-reflective, so you don't get all that bright, piercing light beaming back right into your eyeballs. I haven't personally tested this out, but if it's anything like the Huawei alternative, definitely well worth jumping on board with. And the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro comes packing a quad speaker setup, which is stupidly powerful. Seriously, boost up the volume to the maximum levels and this thing will absolutely not just explode your eardrums, it'll absolutely crack open your entire skull. And certainly if you're enjoying some action-based fare, those gunshots and explosions sound so absolutely terrifyingly loud that I'd highly recommend slapping on the brown pants. And yeah, you got full Dolby Atmos support as well as support for high-res and high-res wireless audio. No troubles with the Bluetooth streaming here. Just as well really, because there's a bugger all headphone jack. Now like a lot of tablets, you've got a camera slapped on the back end of the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, a 50 megapixel effort, and I've got absolutely bugger all idea why. Frankly, I'd much rather there was just no camera on the back and it didn't have that camera bump. Far more useful is the 32 megapixel front-facing camera, which is housed just above the display in that wee bezel there. This can capture you at full HD resolution if you are shooting a bit of vlog action or just doing a bit of video chatting. And as you can hear, the built-in mics do a great job of picking up your voice. No real issues with strong contrast HDR type situations, does a really bang up job. And as you'd expect from a Pro tablet, bugger all issues with the performance here either. You've got Qualcomm Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 stuffed inside, and that's backed here by a respectable 12 gigs of RAM. And if you are a gamer, well, good news, more intensive fare like Wuthering Waves don't cause the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro to absolutely soil itself. Found that I could even boost the graphics level to the higher settings and it would still maintain that 60 frames per second. Action stayed silky smooth throughout, and even on extended gaming sessions as well of an hour plus, the tablet gets a little bit warm, but it doesn't get proper full-on hot because you've got built-in cooling tech on here. And yes, you got the usual Xiaomi HyperOS gaming mode on board as well. You can swipe that out like so at any point, give the performance a bit of a boost. It doesn't really seem to make that much difference in Wuthering Waves, to be perfectly honest. That frame rate stayed pretty smooth without. But you got the likes of Do Not Disturb, you can quickly screenshot or record the action, etc. And no issues with Wi-Fi connectivity or anything either. The performance overall has been proper good. As for the battery life, well, you got yourself a near 9,000 mAh capacity battery. I believe it's 8,850 to be precise. And the longevity, certainly another highlight of the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro. If you're going to be playing Wuthering Waves, something like that, you will kill it dead in about 5.5 hours, which is still pretty solid for a tablet this size. But otherwise, just with general mixed use, you know, streaming a bit of music, playing around in various apps, the occasional video chat or whatever, it's impossible to kill this thing in a single day, I swear to God. I have hours and hours and hours of screen on time from a single charge. And as usual, Xiaomi doesn't disappoint when it comes to the recharging either, because yeah, if you've got, say, half an hour before you're going to bugger off out for the day, you realize, oh no, this thing's completely dead. Well, no worries, just bung a cable in it. You got that Hypercharge Tech 67 watts, so even half an hour at the plug will give you well over 50% battery charge. And if you want to fully juice it up from drains, it takes roughly 80 minutes. So yeah, again, considering the size of this thing, not bad at all. Certainly charges up a bit quicker than those iPad alternatives. And there you have it, my lovelies. That's my full final frank review of the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro, which is a solid premium tablet, albeit one with a few little quirks here and there. Not everyone is a massive fan of HyperOS, of course, and the software support is rather limited on here. There's also bugger all SIM or eSIM support, which might deter you if you are doing a lot of traveling, but otherwise gorgeous display, fantastic audio, excellent performance, and bloody brilliant battery life. And of course, if you want to get all accessoried up, Xiaomi certainly offers plenty of options there, albeit that will bump up the cost quite considerably. That's what this ball northern git reckons anyway. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro and the plethora of other Xiaomi devices that have landed recently. Go check out my reviews of the Xiaomi 15 Pro, the Xiaomi 15, the watch, if you want to. I'm not forcing you to or anything. That'd be lovely. If you could also poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell, and make sure you have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone. Love you.